Jeff Glass Ministries presents Jesus Said This to Me Again. Here is your host, Jeff Glass.
Hey guys, today is the third video in a series on how to recognize Jesus' voice, how to hear him, how to recognize him. So my last video was several stories about me hearing Jesus speak to me. So I'm going to tell you a few more stories so that you might recognize when Jesus is speaking to you. So hopefully these will help you. So one time I was painting a house, again, because that's what I used to do for a living. And I listened to Christian music a lot. And I had these cassette tapes that were just wonderful, my favorite cassette tapes to listen to. And so at the end of the day, I was packing up all my stuff and going out to my truck and loading up my truck. And I took the tapes with me and put them on the bumper. As soon as I put the cassette tapes on the bumper, the Lord spoke to me and said, "Put the tapes in the truck now." I looked at the tapes sitting on the bumper and I thought, no, they're okay. I'll just pick them up on my way out. My final trip to the car, I'll pick up the tapes off the bumper and get in the car. So I continued to load up my truck with all my equipment. And then I went out and got in my truck and started driving home. I was almost home before I remembered the tapes on the bumper. And when I got out of the truck at home and I went around to the back, the tapes were not there. I was hoping they'd still be on the bumper, but they weren't. And so I thought, well, hopefully they're okay. So the next day I drove back to work. And as I turned the corner to go down the block to go to the house I was painting, I see all this, magnetic audio tape laying all over the street. So the tapes had fallen off my bumper. They had broken and come open. And now there's this magnetic tape everywhere down the street. And I was so disappointed because those were my favorite tapes. And I thought to myself and to God, really, I said, I talked to God. I remember I said, God, why didn't you tell me about those tapes? I can hear you. Why didn't you tell me, remind me about those tapes? He said this. He said, I did tell you. Don't you remember when you put them on the bumper? I told you to put them in the truck now. You remember? I said, you're right. I did remember. And I just decided to rely on myself and do what I would do, and not listen to you and obey you. And so now I lost my tapes. So there's an example of, God speaking to me. I heard him plain as day. And yet I just relied on myself. Oh, I'll remember. I'll do it. I'll do it later. See, remember that? I'll do it later. But it wasn't going to be that much later, just 10 minutes later when I make my final trip to the truck. But it's still later. It's not doing it right now. And that's what God usually wants me to do when he speaks to me, is he wants me to do it right that minute. And I didn't. And so I ended up not having my favorite cassette tapes anymore. Well, another time I was painting. And I was painting a ceiling and the walls in this house. And they were similar colors, not exactly the same, but very, very similar. And so when I was breaking for lunch, I wrap up each paint roller tray in a plastic garbage bag and set it on the floor, And so they're both wrapped up in different bags. And I stick my finger in the paint and I write a W on the plastic bag with my finger using the paint for wall paint. So I go to lunch and then I come back. I'm getting ready to paint and I unwrap one of the trays and I start to paint the ceiling, lifting up a long extension pole with the roller on it, and I lift it up to the ceiling just as I'm about to roll it on the ceiling. I haven't touched the ceiling yet, but just as I'm about to put it up there, I hear this, wall paint, clear as day. I stopped. I lowered my roller back down, put it back in the tray where I got it. And then I opened the other tray and I examined the two paints very carefully. And I could see that I was about to paint the ceiling with the wall paint. I mean, that would have been disastrous for me, not for the homeowner. I would have had to spend a whole day and a half maybe repainting the ceiling with the right color, plus the cost of the paint. So God saved me a lot of trouble, saved me a lot of work, a lot of money by just simply saying 2 words, wall paint. And that time I paid attention to him. So it's very important to hear Jesus speaking to you and to recognize when he's speaking to you, then pay attention and obey him. He's only trying to help you. So another time, these are painting stories. So another time I am painting this house, and I have a key to the house. So every day, and they gave me the key, and I just put the loose key, a single key, in my pocket. So every day I reach in my pocket and pull out the key and go in the house and start working. Put the key back in my pocket. So I've done that, for 3 days. So one day I get everything cleaned up. I always clean up my work area every time I leave. So I cleaned it all up, and then, I'm pretty sure I had the key in my pocket, that single key. And so I go out to the truck, and I've already locked the door. And I reach in my pocket to make sure I had the key, and it wasn't in my pocket. So I went home. I couldn't find it in any of my pockets. Wasn't in the back of my truck or anywhere. So I had to call the people and tell them that the next day I would have to come early when they were home before they left for work, because I think the key is in the house somewhere. So that's what I did the next day. I show up, they went to work, I was in the house. And I said, God, that key could be anywhere. You know where it is. Would you please show me where it is? Please tell me where it is. And the previous day I had stripped wallpaper off the walls, and so I had placed all the wallpaper in trash bags. And when I asked him, please tell me where it is, he said, check the trash bags. You'll find it. So I emptied all the trash bags out on the floor, started going through everything. It's just scraps of wallpaper. And sure enough, I found the key. So again, you can just rely on God speaking to you, and you can ask him to speak to you. Now that's important. A lot of people never do that. They ask God for what they want, but they never say, God, would you speak to me and tell me? Would you open my eyes to see and show me? So you can do that. I've done that many, many times. So I'm painting and working in Texas, right? It's very, very hot summer. So again, it's 102, 103 degrees. I've worked all day long, maybe 12 hours. My clothes are literally drenched in sweat. I'm soaking wet with sweat. And I pull into my storage place where I have a storage room and keep all my business stuff, all my tools and equipment. And so I can go to my storage space and unload my truck. And I'm very, very tired. I'm exhausted. I can hardly pick up stuff and walk around, So I'm ready to go. I get in my truck and I start driving around the parking area, the backside, inside the storage area. I drive to the back and turn left, and then I'm turning left again to go all the way back down to the gate and go out. And just as I turn left, I look to my right and I see a crumpled up Coke can laying up beside a door of another storage unit. And as I see it, as I'm turning left, the Lord says, pick it up. So I keep turning left. I don't do what he says. I keep turning left, and I keep driving very, very slow. I'm just creeping along. And as I'm driving, I say, Lord, it's so hot. I'm so exhausted. I'd have to stop the car, get out, walk all the way up to that storage unit, pick up the Coke can, walk back, get back in the car. Now, it sounds like a simple thing, but when you're completely exhausted after a day like that, it's just very, you don't want to do it. It's very hard. So I was driving back down toward the gate in the storage place. And I look up ahead and I see this small pile of trash in the middle of the drive area. Right in the middle. And I thought, oh, great. Look at that. There's some trash I can pick up. And I'll be doing what God wanted me to do. I'll be picking up some trash because I figured he wanted me to pick up the Coke can because he wanted me to pick up some trash. I thought, well, I can drive right up to this trash, which I did, open my door, reach down without getting out of the car and pick up the trash, which I did, put it on the floorboard, shut my door, and I'm driving, creeping along, driving toward the gate, and I say, there, God, how's that? I picked up the trash. How's that? And I hear this as plain as day. Not what I told you to do. And I sat there and I thought, you're right. It's not what you told me to do. So I drove back around to the back of the storage place and went and picked up the Coke can, put that on the floorboard along with the other trash, and began to drive out, and I drove out. Now, I was glad that I finally did obey the Lord and do what he said, but I was sad that I just ignored what he said, and I did something else that I thought would be good. I thought I'd be obeying him by doing that, because I thought he wanted me to pick up trash. And after thinking those thoughts, God let me think the correct thought, which was, no, I want you to obey me and do exactly what I say, not what you think I mean, or not do something else that's similar. You think it achieves the same purpose. The whole point of him telling me to pick up that Coke can was simply to listen to him, believe him, and do what he said. And he showed me over the next couple of days that that's so important to do those things, listen, believe, and obey, because he said, I'm training you. I'm training you to do that, because someday I'm going to need somebody to do something important and do it quickly, right away. It may be a matter of life or death. And you need to be able to hear me, believe me, and obey me quickly, instantly, if you're going to be the kind of person I can use. He says, see, I need people to do that. And I'm training people, everybody. I'm training everyone, every believer, to do exactly that. And some are going along with me and going through the training, and others are just ignoring me, not walking in the Spirit, just doing what they think they ought to do. Because, you see, if you look back on what I just said, it's, I thought I was supposed to pick up trash. I thought I could pick up this trash and that would be just as good. I thought the purpose was for me to pick up trash. You see, that's all about what I thought. But what I think has nothing to do with just what God said. He just wants me to take him at his word, do exactly what he says. And don't think something else. Don't invent something else. Don't interpret what he said. Don't change what he said because you think it fits and it's just as good. It's not. He's training you to do those three things: to listen to him, to believe him, recognize his voice, turn your attention toward him, and then quickly do what he says. Quickly obey, quickly walk with him as you go through your whole life, day by day, hour by hour, moment by moment. He's wanting you to do those three things, and he's training you to do them so he can use you in great and mighty ways and work through you, bringing glory to himself, letting people know he's real, in which you may even be able to do healings and miracles. So Don't delay. Start today. Listen to Jesus. Recognize his voice. Turn your attention to him. Believe him. Take him at his word. You know he can't lie. It's impossible. And do what he says. Do that. You'll be glad you did. Hey guys, I have many stories of Jesus speaking to me. And there's so many, I cannot record them all and give you videos of them all. Maybe I will, but for now, we're just going to have these two videos of the stories. But as you can see on the screen is a page from my website, jeffglass.net. When you get to my website, go to True Stories and then click on Jesus Speaks, and you'll be right here at this page. And you can see that there's just listing of times where Jesus spoke to me, just a couple of sentences for each time. It's just very brief. And those go on down the whole, you can scroll down to read them all. There's like 20 of them or so. They're dated by years, I think. And I have so many to add on to that list since the last one. And they will really bless you. They will really help you see how Jesus speaks to you about everything in every situation, any place, any time. If you'll just pay attention and listen, he is speaking to you. He wants to have intimate fellowship with you. So read those, and I think those will really help you as well. So thanks for listening. Have a great day, and we'll see you on the next video.
We hope these true stories will help you to hear and recognize Jesus speaking to you. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends. Thank you for watching.